Diplomacy did not extend to the Iran nuclear deal, however, which you know who pulled out of yesterday. He did it despite strong objections from the European countries honoring the deal and his own advisors. And is he just keeping a campaign promise here? Do we know what he pulled out of? Does he know what he pulled out?
I hope we're not playing campaign policy politics. You know, I think that once you are in office, fine, you've made some promises, but I think once you're surrounded by your advisors who are advising you against this sort of campaign policy rhetoric, you have to listen. To me, you know, when you think about the Iran deal, again, this was diplomatic. It was not only the United States, but it was just our allies also agreed that this was the best way forward in terms of diplomacy. And now you have defense, you have Mathis who's saying, yes, I'm in, you know, I think this was a bad move for our national security. So why isn't to pull out? So why isn't the president listening?
Because when he pulled out of TPP, which Obama was into, he pulled out of it. He wasn't down with it. He pulled out of the Paris Accords, which Obama was down with. He's pulling out of Iran, which Obama. Now, what's trending here? Do we see anything happening here? It's almost like I can't believe anything he does because it seems to be based on a personal antagonism to Obama and a jealousy.
I don't think that's the case at all. I mean, we only have 2.5 minutes right now, but the Iran deal was deeply, intensely, very chaotic and very controversial at the time. 4 Democrats didn't vote for it. It's why it wasn't a treaty. By the way, Chuck Schumer, Bob Menendez, Benjamin Cardin, Joe Manchin, they all didn't vote for it. We sent $400 million in unmarked bills to the largest state sponsor of terror. And I don't care who you are, but we shouldn't be giving money to a country where people go out in the streets and scream, death to Israel, death to America, and drop missiles.
But that's the American way. We've done that before. We sent money to the Iran-Contra. I mean, we've sent,
that's right.
We've done that.
If we're, as a show, okay with giving money to the largest state sponsor of terror, pouring money into Syria, both sides of the war, the Taliban, Hamas, and Hezbollah, if that's where we're at as America, it is absolutely heartbreaking.
Well,
it was a bad deal to begin with.
Here's the deal, Megan. Sometimes, you know,
unmarked
unless you have...
plane.
Huh?
They said unmarked cargo plane, which is what I said.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking
You're
about.
hearing it in your ear.
Yeah, you just heard something? Okay. Sometimes, if your butt is about to get fried, you have to make deals. And that's kind of how stuff works. And it's not that they had anything better to bring in. No one, everybody bitches, but nobody has they didn't have anything for Obamacare. We said, what do you have? They didn't have.
Well, can I just ask you a question? Because again, I don't want to bring Obamacare into this because that's national policy. This is international policy.
I get the
I know, but like when we agreed to this, we agreed that the inspectors, American inspectors, would go in and check the nuclear facilities, would have 24/7 access to that. But that didn't turn out to be the case. Meaning we couldn't go there and inspect at any time what the money was being used for. I just don't understand how any American is okay at all with giving money to the largest state sponsor of terror while we're still
because it's not the first time it's happened. It's what happened.
Well, one question I had though is when it passed,
the money wasn't
it's Ben Rhodes' idea of what America is like in a classroom, not what it's actually.
I just have a question. I just have a question. This was not popular when President Obama pushed this through, and what I'm curious about is now it's not popular that we're pulling out. Is the damage done, and that's why everyone's changed their opinion, and it maybe leaves a vacuum like Iraq, where we don't have a plan?
He doesn't have plan B.
But they're already funding terror. I mean,
I can agree with the money being exchanged, but that's already been done. So my curiosity is, if it only had like a 20% favorability rate when it was pushed through, why are people now mad if it's being undone?
Because Iran has been complying with it, and
they have not.
They have. And it has worked. And you know, for me,
that is so.
Let her finish. Let her finish. Go ahead.
I think it has worked. I think that we'd be in a much worse place. I think the region would be less stable. I think it's this pulling out separates us from our allies. I also think that we've got to remember France, Germany, and Britain, and Russia, Syria? And China also signed on to this.
So Russia and China, which you rage against all the time about our relationships with Russia. So now you're telling me that we should do what Russia does as well. I'm sorry. It is difficult for me to sit here and accept that we should be funding terror, which is I cannot get behind it.
Here's what's hard for me to accept. You guys don't have another plan. You don't have a way to get Iran to comply. You didn't have that. That's why it happened. But we have to. I know we want to talk, but we gotta go. We'll be right back.